You are going to pass away, and eventually no one's gonna remember you. And I appreciate that's a pretty shocking way to start the video, but you'll see why I phrase it like that. And I'm just gonna jump straight into it. We genuinely only have one life to achieve our potential, to get the most fulfillment we can. It doesn't even have to be from, self-improvement standpoints. It's just how can we fill our life with the most fulfillment possible? That's all we're after at the end of the day. And you might be thinking, yeah, that's obvious. Everyone says that. I hear that every other day. And I'm sure you do. I've heard it a million times before. But the difference comes when you properly sit down and give it some thoughts and properly think about it and meditate on it and, turn your mind inside out about it. You actually only have one life, one opportunity to do what you want. It's kind of like YOLO at the end of the day. It's kind of cliche, it's cheesy, I get it. But by the end of this video, I think you'll be in a different headspace than you are now. And it'll kind of just put things into perspective. So right now, I want you to do this little exercise with me. I want you to just sit there, maybe close your eyes, and just think about it, what it means to not be on this earth anymore, what it means to cease to exist. Just wholeheartedly acknowledge that your existence in this universe, on this earth, is fleeting. It's not a permanent thing. It's very easy to think it is because all we've ever known is this life. We weren't around before our life to experience what it was, not being alive. That's simply not a thing. And it's going to be the same thing once we die. We will just not be here to experience anything. It sounds really wishy-washy, really existential, but it is true. I mean, maybe you'll be gone in 50 years, maybe it's next week. I mean, the only thing I know is it will happen, and unless Brian Johnson figures out some way to make us all immortal, I think it's something that we need to acknowledge and accept and actually use for the better. Because this isn't all doom and gloom. This isn't meant to be some suicide propaganda or something like that. I want to use this in a positive way, because there's two ways you can come about it. You can come about it in a, what's the point? We're all gonna go at the end of the day. You can also think about it in a way where you think, do you know what? Nothing matters, and that's kind of a good thing. It means the small things don't matter, the things that you devote so much of your mental energy to throughout the day. Now, if you've done that practice right, you'll probably feel in a bit of a different headspace than you were before. Maybe before this video you had a few problems in mind, a few things that were on your mind that you knew you had to sort out today or tomorrow or this week or this month. Something looming, pretty much, something that needs to get done, and it can feel like it takes over your life. It can feel like that is the single most important thing in your life. But once you put everything into perspective, once you properly meditate on the fact that you will no longer be around in some finite amount of time, it kind of bursts that little bubble of your problems, the problems that seem all-encompassing. Now look, this headspace isn't going to last forever, this mindset that you're in right now, so I want you to just sit there and savor it and properly give it some thoughts, and also just apply it to your life while you are here. So I want you to think of that thing recently that you just put off, you didn't want to do because you were scared, or because, you reasoned yourself out of it. You thought of a reason why you shouldn't do this, but at the end of the day, you know that it would have benefited you. Maybe you've got that idea in the back of your mind. I want to start this project. I want to set up this business. I've got this idea that's been in the back of my head for weeks, months, years, maybe even a decade, depending on how old you are. I'm sure we all have that one thing where we think, oh, I could have done that. Oh, I should have done that. Well, guess what? It's not too late, because you're still here. You're still alive. You still have the opportunity to do it. Maybe it's not as big as that. Maybe it's just the time that you went to the gym and you saw that girl that you always wanted to speak to, but for the 15th, 20th, 100th time, you reason your way out of it. Oh, I'm having a bad day. I'm tired. Oh, I'll do it next time. I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it next week. Guess what? Tomorrow doesn't exist. By the time tomorrow comes around, it is today. You make the same excuse. I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it next week. It's a constant cycle, and you know it, I know it. Once you put yourself in this mindset of urgency, I've only got one opportunity. There is no tomorrow, there is no next week. It's now or never, pretty much. Then that's when, you push yourself out your comfort zone. You do that thing that you know is gonna hurt, you know it might be uncomfortable in the moment, but it pays off in the long term. Now, funnily enough, I'm in the exact same situation. This is my first YouTube video, and I've been putting this off for months, and I know I should have been doing it. Literally had this idea maybe a year or two ago, and I've never fully committed to it. Well, here I am doing it, and I feel so awkward doing this right now. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't come naturally to me at all, but I mean, it's just one of those things, learning curve. I mean, it's like when I first started the gym. I'm sure maybe you have the same experience. It's you go in and you just feel so out of place. You're like, you don't know what you're doing, and things just feel terrible. And you start to let the thought creep in that, oh, maybe this isn't for me. Well, nothing's for you until you stick to it long enough to know that is simply not a thing. Things not being for you. I think anyone who puts their mind to something can make something their thing, So that is a pretty dangerous mindset to have. When you properly enter this mindset, you see every day as an opportunity to move your life forward in a meaningful way, to, get one step closer to that path of fulfillment, just living a life where when you get to the end of it, you think, you know what, I'm happy. I stuck to my values, I pushed myself, I had fun along the way. And that can only be done by treating this life as your only life, because it is. And it seems obvious, I know, but you don't live like that. Why would you know it, but you don't live like that? How does that make any sense, So look, I'm not making this video to give you this, quick spark of motivation. I'm actually pretty against the idea that you can just change your life in the snap of your fingers, have this turning point. I'm sure some people have that, the David Goggins-esque people, but that's like 0.1% of people. I mean, real change is just a slow change in mentality that happens over weeks, months, years, decades, and that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of change. It happens over time, and before you realize it, you're a different person. And I want you to take on board this idea as not this single event that will change your life, but as a concept that you can hold with you throughout your day-to-day life. They say we make like 40,000 decisions a day. All I ask is that you keep this idea in your mind for 1% of them. And it doesn't sound like a lot, but I think that'll make a massive difference. I mean, maybe next time you find yourself in a situation where you know you should do something, it's uncomfortable, it's painful, and you've been through this story a million times in your head before, and your brain wants you to just go with the same path that you have a million times before, your brain expects you to chicken out. But with this idea in your head, maybe you will recognize the opportunity as what it is. It's your only opportunity, and you've got to take it. You've got to risk it. You've got to do whatever you should do. And everyone knows what they should be doing, but deep down, you don't need me to tell you. So now go away, revel in this revelation you've had. And it will wear off, but I want it to stick with you in some way. Over the next few days, just practice bringing your mind back to this state of almost existentialism, knowing that this is your one opportunity, and apply that to your daily decisions. It'll make a huge difference. It's just one tool amongst many but I think it's a really powerful one. I've actually got a little physical reminder, a pendant on my chain that says the quote "Memento Mori," which is Latin for "remember death." You don't have to have a physical reminder, but it's quite nice to just have that thing to ground you. It's a way to kind of humble you in any situation. It's very easy to slip back into your own bubble of life, your own problems, and you think, almost the whole world revolves around you and your problems. And then you come to terms with your own mortality for a minute or two, and that changes things. And all of a sudden, things become easier, decisions become easier, it becomes common sense, it's a no-brainer, of course I'm going to do it, it's my only opportunity to do it. So now you've practiced this with me in this video, I want you to practice this over the next few days. Take a minute or two. It takes, less than a minute if you need. Just depends on the time you've got, really. Just close your eyes and put yourself back in this mindset if you can, when it matters. Zoom out of your life, see your life as the limited time that it is, and push yourself out of your comfort zone like your life depends on it, because it does. Thank you.